Taking the second part of those functions, we are going to start with the strclone function, which takes a string as parameter and returns a pointer on a newly allocated string, which is going to contain a verbatim copy of the strings you passed as parameter. If the memory allocation goes wrong, we return simply null, and we don't do any more error processing. So we are going to go back to our KWrite editor, and since we know that we are not supposed to do any error processing for the memory allocation, well, we are going to simplify a little this function. We are going to just return whatever malloc is returning to us and get rid of the code that was superfluous here. And there we go. We have like a one-liner for this function. Before to go further, save. Go to my terminal console. GCC main. There we go. Just making sure every time you make small change like that, make sure that you didn't like break something that was working previously. So we are going to write this function. The interface of the function is given to us here. strclone. There we go. Go back to the editor. Char star. Oops, little glitch here. Char star. strclone takes as parameter a char star s as well. This is for the declaration. Here we go for the definition. And I'm going to collapse all those functions that we have been already working on. So, strclone, we are going to have first to allocate some memory, okay, to store the clone of the string that is passed as parameter. So, to know how much memory we need to allocate, we have a function that can help us, the strlength. Okay, so let's go for it. Int size equal, well, let me do that like in 2 steps. Size equal strlength. I'm reusing one of my other function. I measure the length of this new string. Okay, so the length will include actually the end of string marker. That's the way that we implemented our strlength. So once I have the length of that string, I can go ahead and store in a temporary pointer, sorry. TMP is assigned char star, and I'm calling malloc. Oops, malloc size of a single char times the size we need. And once again, I would use size plus 1 here if my string length function was not already taking into account the end of character, the end of string marker, sorry. So I have now allocated my memory. I need to do the cloning. I need to copy everything that is in S inside of this new string. So once again, several ways to do that. Okay, pointer arithmetic, regular array notation, etc. Let's go with what comes first to mind. I'm going to mimic what we did with the last solution of the strlength function. I'm going to have a char star, which I'm going to name start, which is going to be equal to TMP, the beginning of our newly allocated string. Okay, and then I'm going to iterate while star s, as long as s point to a character which is not the end of string marker. I'm going to work in my loop. What am I going to do in this loop? Well, at the end, I can tell you already, I'm going to increment s so that I go to the next character. Meanwhile, I can do something such as star TMP is equal to star s. I'm assigning the character currently pointed by s to the character slot currently pointed by TMP. So that means that I will have to increment not only s, but the TMP pointer itself. That's why we use start to remember where our string, newly allocated string, is actually starting, so we can return it at the end of our function. So we have a loop right now that is going to keep iterating until we meet the end of string character. So when we meet the end of string character, when star s points to the end of string character, we will do star TMP equal that end of string character, and we will be done. That's it. once this is over, return start, and we should have a clone of our string. How to test this code? I'm saving right now. How to test this code? Well, let's go back to our main, and I'm going to, after the test for deallocating our pointer p, I'm going to reuse this pointer p, and I'm going to ask to have str clone of the strings, let's say s5 for example, and store it inside of p. Following this, I'm going to printf string s5 is neutralize the quote, %s neutralize the quote, \n space string p is, same routine here, neutralize the quote again, \n, and then I'm going to pass the parameter, which are s5 and p, and there we go. Let's double check this code for syntax error. We are clean. Let's run it to test it. String p s5 is high, string p is high. Okay. Well, this is pretty much it. Okay, we have now our cloning function. You can see that we are starting to reuse more and more of the function that we previously developed, and this is generally speaking a good thing. Of course, you want to develop functions so that you can reuse them in your own code, and so that other programmer can reuse them in theirs. So we are done with this little exercise, and we're going to move on to the next one in